What is happening there, Reject Nation? Happy New Year's Eve to all of you. Really do appreciate the successful year you guys have helped the real rejects have. It's all thanks to you guys for watching our videos. Really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. It means the world. A big part of what's helped make our channel so successful is you guys going into my DMs and sending stuff like this to me. Andrew Garfield news. We got two things to talk about. First thing on the agenda, Forbes has a very interesting article, and Forbes, I don't know if you guys have heard about them. They are a respectable magazine. Isn't that right, John?
They are, and they know a lot about business.
That's right, they do, especially the movie business. The second thing is, I found this one very interesting. William Spencer, Andrew Garfield's stuntman, may have accidentally confirmed the Amazing Spider-Man 3 is happening. He did comment on what he said, so we got to talk about that. But first things first, Forbes did say Andrew Garfield likely returning as Spider-Man to fight Venom, Sinister Six. While it's not a direct confirmation, the fact that Forbes is reporting on this and saying it's likely makes it feel very likely that it would occur. Maybe you guys have seen us talk about this in previous videos. I think that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man would fit best with what they currently have going with the Venom verse. I mean, we're gonna get into spoilers here for both Let There Be Carnage and No Way Home. You had the post-credit scene where it seemed like, oh my god, Venom is finally about to face off against Tom Holland. It was like a great 1 minute tease. There was a 1 minute tease in No Way Home where it's like, okay, apparently not. Apparently that's not happening now.
Right back to Sony where he belongs.
We'll leave some symbiote here so we can do Black Suit Spider-Man and have the symbiote affect Tom Holland. Cool. Maybe. We don't know what the actual plans are. But I've always thought the prospect of Tom Holland and Tom Hardy fighting each other was a little bit odd to me. Their movies, it's difficult for me to imagine a movie where it tonally fits, even though I know it's what people want. It's hard for me to really imagine what that movie would be, because even watching that post-credit scene in No Way Home, you're like, something about this doesn't quite mesh.
It does not feel like it belongs, in the same universe.
But when we're talking about which Spider-Man franchise really would probably mesh better, I've said this several times that it would probably be Andrew Garfield's, based off of how much darker that one is. And I feel like cinematography-wise, they both have this sort of blue tint to the way those films are framed. And I just think their universes ultimately would mesh best together. If we're talking about from the three Spider-Man will work better with Tom Hardy's. It makes me think about, and Warren from Cosmic Wonder actually pointed this out, how in Spider-Man No Way Home, one thing Andrew Garfield does say when they're riffing with each other is, I'd like to fight an alien. And it just sounds like a funny line, but if it actually is a seed they plant for a future installment, for some bigger plan that we were not made privy to, I think that'd be a really cool way to have that actually occur. So it would be an interesting tease, I ultimately think, and I do think them colliding together would make more sense than even Tom Holland's. And with the way No Way Home ends, we assume that it would just end with them going back to their respective universes, but the multiverse is in chaos, so we don't really know exactly where they're gonna be landing ultimately. Tom Hardy could be landing in Andrew Garfield's. Andrew Garfield could be landing in Tom Hardy's, you know?
Absolutely.
We don't know where they're gonna be landing ultimately, and we just have to wait for it to play out. And with Forbes talking about the Sinister Six, I have several friends who know Sony people, and that's all I could really say about that. But there have been some rumblings about Sony actually going back at it with trying to develop a Sinister Six movie. It does put a little bit of a wrench in it, only due to the fact that the villains were healed in No Way Home, so maybe it would just be like Venom, Morbius, Kraven the Hunter, and some other folks. I'm not sure who.
Variants of the villains we saw here. You never know.
So I think it would be a neat way to bring back Andrew Garfield if, like, Tom Holland can still exist within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Sony can put a conclusion or a continuation with their own Spider-Man, because I think that's something No Way Home sets up really well, is we can have coexisting Spider-Man without it being confusing. You would have your Into the Spider-Verse franchise, you have your Tom Holland one, and then perhaps Sony could have like their Andrew Garfield one, which is so tonally different than Tom Holland's, but it would be pretty cool, I think, to ultimately see play out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I feel like you're totally right in that, Andrew Garfield, I think, would match with Tom Hardy's energy that much more, especially as compared to like a Tobey Maguire or a Tom Holland, because both of them are quirky and have these weird tics and mannerisms. And yeah, Sony's universe is a bit darker, and they are clearly going for the villain, anti-hero stories. And I feel like, yeah, that makes the most sense to put Andrew Garfield in that world. And two, you look at something like the Morbius trailer, it's confusing as to which universe that is, because it looks like it's got elements of all three, and I wonder if they're going to use that to their advantage as some kind of messy means of going, we're going to see what people respond to the best, and then kind of run with whichever one this is. And right now that seems to be Andrew Garfield.
I mean, if it is Andrew Garfield, my theory has been that Spider-Man of Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man from the PlayStation that was going around says murderer on it, could actually be digitally swap it out with Andrew Garfield's when we actually watch the movie, which would have make more sense. Still don't know why they're calling him murderer. But he does also talk about in No Way Home that he let his rage get the best of him. So maybe there is some storyline there to unpack where he accidentally did kill someone. I'm not sure what it would be, but I think that would make it work. And also with the Oscorp building, this has been pointed out several times, that's not the exact same one from The Amazing Spider-Man, but it is the same text. And they also do mention Venom in that Morbius trailer.
I am.
So it would work. The thing that throws a wrench in it is that maybe this Vulture is not the same Vulture from the MCU, but perhaps a variant, or maybe Morbius is just kind of throwing everything in it and we don't really know exactly what the hell they're doing.
They're just trying to confuse us. This is where maybe we're reaching the phase where they're just going to throw in a whole bunch of things that won't actually appear just to throw us off the scent.
But I'll leave the question to you, beautiful sons of bitches. Would you want Venom, Tom Hardy's, to go up against specifically Tom Holland's, or would you want Andrew Garfield to return and have him go up against him? Leave your thoughts down below. Now, the thing that some people thought might be an actual confirmation of it all was William Spencer, who is Andrew Garfield's stunt double. On Instagram, someone said, congratulations on getting the call to work on TASM 3, The Amazing Spider-Man 3, and which he responded, thank you so much. So a lot of people ran with this as this must be confirmation, right? This has to be the real confirmation. However, he did take it to Instagram to screenshot this moment and say that this was just a big misunderstanding. The reason why it was a misunderstanding is because he was getting a lot of congratulatory praise in regards to No Way Home, so he was trying to just quickly reply to everyone. So when he said thank you, he wasn't really thinking about that was saying TASM 3. What he was doing was just saying thank you. I can believe that. If you're responding to like a gazillion messages, you're likely to say that. But the initials for TASM 3 are very different than NWH. So maybe he was just a little confused, maybe he was a little bit tired. I'm not sure what it is. Another thing that there's a little bit of a wrench in this whole thing of him clarifying it. One of the things when stuff was getting leaked about No Way Home, forget exactly what the story is, you guys can put it in the comments, I'd really appreciate that. He pretty much put it out there that he was working on No Way Home. That led to a lot of people solidifying the theory that he must be there because he's Andrew Garfield's stunt double. And as we saw, that came true. And
this is the new guy in Marvel's sights, Marvel's scope.
Maybe that's what's occurring right now, is he accidentally said a little too much, and this is such a massive plan, it would really shift the game plan for Sony's Spider-Man universe, because this would then really make it a full-blown Spider-Man universe. So I don't know, I'll just take his word for it for now, that he could, it's very believable that he would just be replying really quick and not really think about it.
But either way, I think you can count it as a safe bet that Andrew Garfield will return as Spider-Man in some degree pretty soon.
Yeah, it seems to be the main discussion right now after this movie is less about Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4 and more about, it seems that Andrew Garfield is indeed returning. I'm excited for it. I absolutely love his portrayal of Peter Parker Spider-Man. I feel like it would make sense. Prior to No Way Home, it'd be a little bit like, I don't know about this, but after what we see in No Way Home, I think there's a good match here. Anyway, guys, what do you think about this piece of news? Do you believe this stuntman or not? Thank you guys so much for this amazing year. Spider-Man stuff seems to just be ramping up even more. I thought after No Way Home we'd be like, all right, let's cool down. Now it's just like blown open a whole bunch of other doors.
Hand off that football to Andrew Garfield and let him go.
Let's see, man. There's so much more coming. Subscribe, click that notification bell, hit that like button. We got one more patron of the day shout out. Sar Ben Israel. Just when we thought we wrapped up all of our patron of the day shoutouts, you snuck in there and took the pledge. I like that about you. It takes ambition. It takes knowing an opportunity when to strike. S stands for Spider-Man.
A stands for amazing.
A stands for awesome-tacular. Jeremy, not Renner, would give you that rating.
R stands for righteous, because you are a righteous cat.
B stands for Ben Parker, because it takes this level of guidance around our... Yeah, moving on to the E, John.
E stands for Edward Nygma, of a different universe entirely, but we can dream, right?
Absolutely. N stands for Norman Osborn, because you are cunning.
I stands for Ivan Drago.
S stands for Sissy Spacek, because you can read minds of when to pledge.
R stands for Ray Park, who I assume has done some stunt work in some Spider-Man property somewhere.
A stands for astronomical joy.
E stands for Elf, comma, Flying Green. No Way Home joke.
L stands for lick me in 2022. Sure you were happy you got in here at the last minute. Thanks so much for joining us.